Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. I didn't do a video last week, as you would know, as I had a bit of trouble setting up this new PC and getting all the settings right, etc. As Windows 11 Home is a lot different from Windows 10 Home, but it's more or less 99.9% all done now. I just got to get a gaming headset and then I should be good to go. As you can see, this screen is a lot more tidy than it used to be. This is Eva Green. If you didn't already know, I've only seen her in the Bond film Casino Royale and the sequel to 300. She's an inch taller than me, and would I go with her? Nope. I don't think I would be confident enough to approach her, even if she was single. Even Bond was turned into a simp by her character in Casino Royale. Besides, the guys that she goes with are used to going with women like her, and I've never been with anybody really, so I wouldn't dare think of approaching a woman like that. It's just too scary. So I just don't bother. As you can see, I've got some games. That's Battle.net for Modern Warfare 1, 2 and 3. And that's World of Warships I had before, World of Tanks I'm trying, and War Thunder. I've got Battlefield 6 to get, and EVE Online to get back on, and of course Max Payne. And then I should have my full complement of games that I wanted. These are the two tools I use for the videos, but for now this screen is going to be nice and tidy compared to what I used to have it before. So a new computer and a new start, so to speak. Anyway, I've not been having much time to have a look around for some things, but I've found some things on the dating scene in America. The first thing I found is this. As you can see, it's a site called Medium, and this was done on March 22nd, 2023. As you can see, No Love Lost is America, the worst place to date. It's just a article by this lady, Rona Lowe, Oriental lady, and the only thing which is relevant from a MGTOW perspective is the replies. This from James, who's 40 years old. Been dating in America for years. Let me tell you, it's a nightmare. A lot of women seem to have a checklist of unrealistic expectations, and if you don't meet every single one of them, you're out of luck. And Anthony, an American guy, 55, he tried dating other countries, and believe me, it's like night and day compared to America. Women here are so entitled and demanding that they expect you to go through hoops just to get a date. And he said the dating culture is so toxic, it's all about who can play the game better and who can be more aloof and uninterested. It's like nobody wants to be genuine or vulnerable. So I had no other choice but to give up dating in America altogether. In other words, Anthony's probably a passport bro. And Quinton, who's 38, he says, not saying American women are bad, but I can no longer take it here. So obviously he has become a passport bro. So people are so focused on their needs and desires they forgot about the other person. In other words, American women apparently are self-centered and self-entitled. And it says the hookup culture is on a whole other level of messed up. Nobody wants to commit. Nobody wants to put in the effort to build a real relationship. And then she just finishes off the article. And 3 responses. This lady is a Korean lady. I dated some American men on Tinder. It's not just American women who play games. I'm straight, so I don't know about American women, but I can tell you that the crazy American culture is affecting everyone, not just women. Click on more, and then she explains it more. And then title definitely caught my eye, just only 3 comments. Now, support that, I found this. It's e-information, dating culture in America and other countries. This was done on April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2023. March, April, about a couple of weeks after that one. And America says has a distinct dating way of life in other countries. US citizens are open-minded and carefree. The tiny handful of Americans that I've ever met, I can attest to that. Consequently, they are very likely to embrace informal dating and hooking up. They also don't feel pressure to find a marriage or maybe a family as quickly as some Europeans do. And it says, in America, it may be common design for couples to live together for many years before having a wedding. Over here in Britain, it's called living over the brush. So, living in sin, as it used to also be called. They're also very likely to date multiple people at the same time. That could be women or Chad. This change is going with norms is essentially due to the changing nature of technology and increasing casual relationships. And about Europeans and dating in Asia and dating in Australia. Dating culture is much more casual. Australians are very sociable and often match with their potential buddies through shared friends. I lived in Perth, Australia for 11 years. And that is quite a bit of Australian bullshit. I always found that Australian girls, they just practiced the three eyes with me, in that I was invisible, they ignored me, and essentially they were just indifferent. So I've only been on one single date in my entire life. That was 46 or so about 46 years ago. So that's all my dating experience. But anyway, it's just about that. Now, I've also, to support America, I found this International Students Office aimed at American students, dating culture in America. It says there are several things that are good about the dating customs in America. First, it is never considered improper for a woman to ask a man on a date. Now, given the way women are that I've seen on the MGTOW channels, that is very unlikely that a woman in America has asked an American man out on a date. It's usually they want the guy to ask them out on a date. And then, second, dating service often used as a tool. Dating service often used as a tool to find potential partners in America. According to the Pew Research Center, online dating has lost a lot of stigma. Now 15% of US adults and 27% of 18 to 24-year-olds use online dating as a way to meet people. Doesn't say what the division is, whether it's guys or gals. And I just read, because I had a look at it earlier, dating customs in America, but this was done in 2017, so it's probably long obsolete by now. Anyway, get rid of that. But this is the main thing I had a look at. This was done on February the 6th this year. How bad is America's romantic recession? And it goes down. She's writing a book about relationships, dating and gender dynamics. Lots of people have opinions about the topics and share them. I recently received an email from a woman in her 40s, i.e. post-war, who was given up on dating and men. And this is a letter. And the lady's name was Kathy. And it says, the Pew Research Center found a record number of 40-year-olds had never been married. Dating overall appears to be on the decline. I recently talked to two sorority sisters. I have no idea what a sorority sister is, not being an American, at the University of Virginia, who are about to graduate without ever having been in a relationship. I asked them whether their freshman selves would be surprised by this fact. They both nodded. For college-educated men, relationships and dating experiences are even more limited. 4 in 10 young American men report having either hooked up or dated as undergraduates, probably because the American colleges are so toxic and lethal for single American guys. And it says, do women have unreasonably high expectations for a romantic partner? Yes. They have a shopping list. And it says, or are men too inept and simply uninterested in dating? Well, they're interested in dating, but they don't really want to date American women because women have unreasonably high expectations for a romantic partner. And it says, none of Kathy's dating requirements sound unreasonable to me, especially given she's an accomplished and educated woman. In other words, she won't date down. It's true, however, that single college-educated women have more specific preferences when it comes to a partner compared to women without a degree. For instance, being unemployed, smoking cigarettes, living with your partner, or supporting Trump are more likely to be dating red flags for college-educated women than those with less education. In other words, college-educated American women are generally liberal-minded and not conservative-minded. So they're in the category, I don't need no man. Then we have a list of college-educated single men, women have more dating red flags. These are red flags for men. The 18 to 39, smoke cigarettes, unemployed, lives in another state, is a Trump supporter, has children from a previous relationship, does not trust vaccines. I don't trust vaccines. Is much shorter than you. Well, I'm only 5'6", so I'd have zero chance. Is very religious. Well, I'm a Christian. Lives with their parents. Not anymore. Mum and dad have gone. Did not go to college. Well, I went to University of Institute of Science and Technology in Manchester. Not that it did me any good. And he said, but these dating preferences are not necessarily deal breakers. In conversations, plenty of single American women expressed a willingness to accommodate and compromise. That is a bit of bullshit. And even with those more specific preferences, college-educated women are far more likely to get married than their peers without degrees. And then yada yada yada. Marriage is declining among American women without a Bachelor of Arts, but not those with one. And then it starts off in 1930, 35, the war years in America. America's economy was booming. But 1945, when peace was declared, that's when it started to diverse the peace dividend, so to speak. We had America in the 50s, the golden years, but you notice how it's starting to separate when women stayed in the workforce. Second wave feminism, third wave feminism, and fourth wave is about here. But you can see marriage rate for college educated women 71%, marriage rate for non-college educated women 52%. But they forget that their grandmothers, their mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers also didn't go to college, but they got married and had children. So this marriage thing just has to be college educated, a load of bunk. And it says it certainly seems good news for those with a college degree, but there are a couple of caveats. First, this data tells us nothing about the extent to which couples are satisfied with their marriages or whether their marriages will endure. Well, my mum and dad didn't go to college and they were married for just short of 70 years. Second, and most critically, the data includes Generation Z and most of the millennial generation. So these ones in that generation, they've never experienced real hardship in the economy. And then more yada yada. And it says, in many ways, perhaps most ways Kathy lives a full and rewarding life. Well, I hope her and her cats are very happy. But she still struggles with a lack of physical affection. And then it goes on TikTok and complains about it. I usually get touched maybe 2-3 times a year, and that touch usually in the form of a quick hug I might get from a friend when they greet me. In other words, she's got, what do you call it? Touch. Forget the word. Forget it. And he says, more than anything, America's romantic recession is a crisis in connection. It's a cultural problem. Yeah, and it's affecting the US economy. As you can see with David's bridal company going into recession, and all the bridal shops and shops associated with the wedding industry also closing down because they got no customers. And no amount of individual effort, lowering of standards or changing personal expectations will solve it. As I said before in one of my videos, I live opposite a church, and up to this today, there's not been no marriages at the church. It used to be quite common, but this year and virtually last year, I can't remember ever seeing a marriage. It's been about a good 4 or 5 years. So it must be affecting me in my little corner of the world. Anyway, that's the Survey Centre for American Life. To top it off, you're going back to this. This is red because it brings you to this site. Best foreign dating sites in 2025. If you're an American man and you don't want to bother with an American woman, you can try a foreign woman. You go through a site like this. So, best single girls, single Latin beauties. Let's have a look at that one. Whoops. You click on that. And it brings up this. Maybe later. Another bugger off. It's dating for single men. Now these are all attractive women, but this is the carrot. You don't know what these women are like. You only get how good looking they are. They could be all bitches until they could be playing a game, chameleons, till they get to America and get the green card. Then the real person is exposed. And the other ones, another one, similar. And registration, yada yada yada. If you drop down, so if you date, there, Secura, Ukraine, Naomi, Colombia, Latin date, Eva Hart. But you have to bear in mind these pictures, there's the carrot, but they could be AI. She could be an AI woman, not a real woman. And then we go that. You notice no piercings, no tattoos. But what's going on inside that head? And it says what types of foreign girlfriend dating sites are there? Most popular sites, performers, more options, all men looking for relationships with foreign brides from different countries. The best foreign brides sites are determined, database, costs, politics, support, and then registration on all this, that and the other. And then we got the price. Asian dating sites for a week, $300. Slavic, $50. Latin American, $75. European, $100. Arabian, if you're a Muslim, the $150. The rest of the world, $80. But it turns out date in America is the worst place to date, according to the replies that this lady's got from American men. The dating culture in America is different, but as you can see, America is in a serious romantic recession. That's why there's passport bros and sites like this. I'll try and find something along dating lines for next week to go with the MGTOW and see how it's affecting the MGTOW philosophy and outlook. But for now, I think I'm on the 15 minutes mark. Sorry it's a bit iffy, but I've had problems getting this new computer working. But after today, it should be alright. But the next one I do will be a Star Wars one. Because as you know, I've liked Star Wars from a handful of videos I've done. So I want to do one on that thing just to keep my hand in. But for now, you know the routine. Like, dislike, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. It's completely up to you. So until not next Monday, the Monday after, because next Monday I'm going to visit my parents' grave. And I don't really want to do a video before that. So until the week after, a week on Monday, that's it. Until then, bye-bye.